Hello everyone, we are back with another video. Today we will be discussing on a very interesting strategy, something which is mixture of two concepts. One is your SNR, second is your engulfing. SNR will be used as your higher time frame key levels and engulfing as a validation if the level will hold or not. So the strategy is going to be really simple, and someone who is new to the market will be able to follow up with this strategy. And this video especially is made for someone who have been trying engulfing but can't really see the consistency, just because engulfing don't have strict set of rules. It is more of a flexible concept where we have to be flexible with the market, how market presents you, but not in the strategy. This is going to be very rule based driven strategy. So every buy or a sell decision you will make will be very similar to your previous trade. So there is going to be no uncertainty. So but keep in mind, this model is for someone who wants to get repeatable bucket of water from the whole ocean. When I say bucket of water, I mean small pips from the market, not really targeting for every buy or a sell move. So what I mean by that is, we will in the strategy we will not cover how all these cells came in, how we could have captured the buys, buys, sells. No, we are not gonna be considering every move in the market in this strategy. Okay, so the our goal is primarily that we want to get 50 to 100 pips on the gold chart, and that's all. That is the primary target. If the rules are been met, then we will trigger a buy or a sell button, right? So to move ahead, so we have five type of SNRs that we will be using. Someone who is new to the SNR, you um so I can explain you the very five types, which is a resistance. So we will be using the closing as our key level marking. So this is our resistance that we could mark. This is support. This is RBS. When a resistance breaks, that's a flip level. So we will call it as a resistance becomes support. And the vice versa, when the supports gets broken with candle closer, we will use this level as a SBR level, which is support becoming resistance. And then we have open close levels. This is a bearish open close level, which can be called as your gap level or decision level, which is basically your hidden base or dominant area in the engulfing terms or supply and demand terms. And for the bullish, we just need two consecutive bullish candlestick, and we will use the previous candle closing as our level to be marked. So this is our bullish gap level. Okay, and then we will be using a lift shoulder as well for a high time frame markings. Okay, and so we will be only using anything above daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay, so our primary goal in this strategy, let me explain you. Our goal is that what I have noticed, and you guys would have to, that you know anything above daily, weekly, and monthly, those level tend to give a small reaction before even breaking out. Correct. So if I just mark out this, let's say this, let me go to the weekly, and over here, even if price has to go past this level, most of the time what price will do is, price will first make a small it will try to give a small reaction before even breaking out. So we will be using that small reaction as an opportunity to look for buys. In this example, it was a bullish gap, right? So the moment price touches it, we could expect market to react from this higher time frame key level, and we can make a small buy to the a small buy. So And am I telling you that every higher time frame key level will can be used to buy or sell? Not exactly. This is where second concept comes in, which is your engulfing concept, to really validate if the level will hold or not. Okay, so what makes the strategy different from the usual SNR? So the usual SNR talks about, if we talk about the your EKFX or SOP, or no, not really exactly AKFX has discovered, but to make things easier, so if we have a weekly level, weekly will reject weekly, and daily has to do a support, or daily has to break the resistance, right? The rod block, and then the weekly storyline will begin. Correct? That's how usually we use the SNR concept. But what I'm telling you is that we will not consider any of your storyline and direction, nothing about multi-time frame analysis, anything which is complex. This video is especially for someone who wants a very repeatable process and a easy way to mark out your charts. So our goal over here is that we will mark out our higher time frame key levels, and what we gonna do is we gonna use that small reaction that those higher time frame key levels give us as an opportunity to buy or sell. Okay, I'm gonna give you very a lot of examples. Okay, so make sure to watch this video till end if it not making any sense for now, but um it is going to be really interesting video. Okay, so over here, if I go, this is a bullish gap, right? On the weekly chart, we have a weekly gap over here as well, which is your open close level, correct? So the idea is that we could use these level, and when price comes back to these levels, we will not just trigger a buy over here. We will use the engulfing concept to validate if this level will hold or not. And our primary goal is that we want is you know 50 to 100 pups, and we are good to go. Correct? By also determining what is the risk to reward, but the major goal is that we want that small reaction in our favor to look for buys and sells. Okay, so over here, if this is weekly, which is also a daily level, and there is no cherry picking levels, we will use every daily level and monitor the level with the engulfing to understand if the level will hold or not. Again, so in this case, we had this weekly level over here, and this resistance over here, um this gap level was responsible for the break. You don't really have to understand the logic. All you have to do is just mark up your higher time frame key levels and look for lower time frame to validate if the level will hold or not, and just trade the very first reaction or the second reaction. We will come into that. So over here, if I go to the M15, let's look at the very recent one, and over here let's look at this one only for now. So what we had is we reacted to the level, and we formed a M15 EG buy. Okay, and this is the rod block to that. So M15 gave you EG buy, and this was the rod block that pushed price into the zone. So at least we could do what we can buy from here back to the rod block, correct? And there can be two scenarios. One is price may reject the rod block and continues to go lower, or maybe it starts to build bullish to current market price and starts to go higher. I don't want to complicate on that. All I'm trying to explain you is that we can buy over here because um the lower time frame is giving us the signal that okay, we have an M15 EG buy. This is the very nearest rod block we can target for this next, you know. supply, right? So this becomes our opportunity to look for buy, right? So if I just plot this over here, let's say from there with the ASL, use the ASL as closing of this EG buy, but overall we can target for this next supply. So that's a nice, 1 to 2.5 risk to reward. And you, how much pep is it? Let's, so this is more than 300 peps. That is, to be honest, a lot to be considered. So anyway, so what is our plan of action? Our plan of action is using the high time frame levels anywhere, anything above daily, weekly and monthly. We can use H4 as well if you want to, infuse the uh, is SNR SUP, that daily reject daily, H4 forms up, supports and all. You can use those level and validate through the engulfing concept. But to make the video very, very easy and easy for beginners to follow, we will be using daily, weekly and monthly majorly. Okay. So so this was a monthly level and as well as the daily level, right? This whole resistance was broken by this dominant area, so that makes it bit important as well as. So from buying over here, all we are targeting is 50 to 100 per range, but it gave you a very nice long run. Not telling you to hold for a next daily level. That is not our um, plan of action. That you should not hold in this strategy. All we are doing is um, getting that reaction as an opportunity to trade. We are not targeting for next daily to hit. Our plan of action is 50 to 100 per range, and if the RR is good, then we will look for a buy or a sell opportunity. Okay. So let's say you took an opportunity. So on the very next day, you will look for another daily or weekly key level. So we had a weekly level over here, right? And we had the daily level as well. And we can use these levels as well. So if you took a buy, we can monitor this daily level, and we can monitor this daily level, and we can monitor these left shoulder as well, right? So these are three levels we can monitor. So I'm not gonna cherry pick any of these level. We in the live market we will mark out every level, and all we gonna do is use the lower time frame for the confirmation, right? So this was a daily level over here, which was your SBR resist support becoming resistance. What we had M15 EG cell and another M15 EG cell. So selling over here makes sense for me, right? To be honest, I'm not gonna explain my entry modules over here. How do I enter to make things easier for you, or you can use this M5 and M15 for the confirmation. I will keep my entry models to myself for now. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing. But coming back to the topic, so there is this EG cell we can use, putting an ASL above the highs and expecting for another um 100 to 50 pips. So this was more than that, so you could use that. And for someone who is um who have good knowledge about supply and demand or engulfing as a whole, he will understand that this is a whole buy range, and anything inside is will we have rod blocks to be monitored. So we had this H1 rod block. So sells is more of a counter trade, because the rod block could hold the price to go higher, right? So we can target for the next very rod block by precising and all. But still it goes, and it is bit advanced. So the videos, mainly the purpose of videos to make things easier, so you can use your past knowledge to understand where could be your next very target, from where price can reverse again. So this daily we understood there was some sort of current market price that held price, so we could look for the sells. But there are odd blocks near to each other, so understand that we are here for the very first reaction. So if it is giving you anything above 50 to 100 pips, all that's all what we matter, right? And again, we had a daily level right over here on the very first, when we had the interaction, did we formed nothing over here, no sell signals were formed, but later we had a M15 EG cell, and we came back into the daily level. We, closed below the daily level again, and during that process we made another M15 EG engulfing failed, and then we made another engulfing EG cell. So what it is telling me, okay, there is no rule that I'm not gonna say that once price goes, above the resistance, we can't look for the sells. You can do that because this is a daily level, and there can be, you know, some, price can go a bit far away from the levels before returning back. So all you have to do is wait for price to, come back to the level and look for the signals. In this case it was sale signal that was given, and you can look for the sales. There is no rule saying that once price goes above the resistance you can't take it. No, that's not the case. Okay, so sales taken over here, let's say, and you can again look for the very nearest rod block, or even the whole buy this range. I don't want to go deep into that. So all we are expecting is, the interaction between these levels to give us a rejection, and we successfully gained another, you know, nice range of nice peps over here. Correct. So this is how we gonna, walk with the strategy. We don't care. We will not care about anything about higher time frame structures, low time frame structures, storyline direction, nothing really to be worried about. All we are doing is using the high time frame key levels as an opportunity to trade their reaction, by validating through the engulfing process, concept. Very simple. Watch this video 2 or 3 times if you can't really digest what I'm trying to explain. I'm gonna try to give you more examples. So this was the next daily level for cells. So what we can use is, you can even precise these daily levels with the H4, but that's not some to make things easier. Just use the daily levels. There is no need for precising and all. But if you are very familiar with the SNR concept, then you can use your advanced knowledge as well. So selling over here, we can sell that, right? And yeah, so we had a beautiful sell to the lower side. So now again price came back into the these daily levels on this left shoulder. We could use this as an opportunity to look for sells again, right? And one thing more, when we had this closing, we also formed a daily open close level, so we can use this level when price comes back as an opportunity to sell. Let's see if we had some you know confirmation to sell over there. I hope, look, let me put a vertical line there. Yeah, this was the candle that was pushing back to the daily level using the M15. Let's see if we had any confirmations. Yeah, so while pushing back to the zone, we had M15 engulfing failed and M15 EG sell. So that from the EG sell we can sell again, right, for another 50 to 100 pip profit target. So let's say if I'm selling from there, again, if we are putting hard stops over there above the high, then you would have been, your SL would have been taken. But if you are manually exiting the position once price close above the zone, that's how engulfing SL really works, that we only close once we close above the zone. So in that case you would have taken this another win position, okay, a sell position, having another nice profit, right? So so price comes in. Now we could use the daily level again, and something this level over here was already been tested, and there was no new daily resistance formed, so we can't use this level now. So the only fresh level we had was this left shoulder, so we could use that level and wait for price to give us some sort of signal that it wants to go lower. So very first time it made a very a resistance, and what happens, this was the rod block. I won't go deeper into this, whole structure, but just to explain you, we were struggling to break this high, and we formed another M15 EG cell. So, so on this buy, price was making buy range, but it struggled to go past this level and formed another EG cell. So it is telling me what that the the buyers are exhausting, and there is a possibility the sells could can overtake the buy ranges. So that's become your another sell position over there, right? I don't want to complicate the entries part, and I don't even want to share. I don't want to share my entry modules now. For now, I will keep it to myself. But just to show you, this is another sell position to take, right? And you can target for the next rod blocks, and you can use the H1 to use as the next rod block, and this is another nice sell opportunity given to you, right? So selling from there, we can use the daily again. Back to the daily, we can use the daily buy level. For now that we have sold, we can use this next level for the buys, right? And before we had the sells, this is when we closed. So it was like daily rejecting daily, and daily formed another resistance. So that's the SOP kind, a bit advanced thing. Not really advanced, but if you are aware of this SOP, then you would have understood that this is now another opportunity to sell, right? So we could use the M15 and M5 to the um look for an opportunity, right? I had to plot a vertical line and then look for where price came into the pullback phase. But just to make things easier, you could have another sell over there, right? And then we had this daily support over here, and this was the very first interaction to that. So over here we had a very first interaction, and we had a very nice engulfing buy over here, which closed with a very good momentum. But overall I believe this is very big easel, right? Yeah, this is too big. So what we can use is, we can either use we can either repeat the SOP to precise an entry. That's again something advanced, complex. But to make things easier, we can use the 50% range as an opportunity to buy. And yeah, we rejected beautifully SLs below that, and we can target what we can target for the next rod blocks. Again, this is a EG cell, a same color, and we have your SBR, right? So we can target for the next very rod block, and we again had a very nice, you know, beautiful reaction we could have taken a buy from, right? And what happened? Price came in back again. Now your question could be that, can he use the level again? Yes, you can use the level again until daily has not closed below the level. We can still use the level, and there could be H1 forming some, no, not in this case. There could be some H4 or H1 forming a new support. So that is now like another confirmation to look for buys again. So back to the M15, we can use the level again because the daily has not yet broken. So we can use it second time. We again had closing above the this whole resistance, and this was the AG responsible. We can again look for buys, targeting what? Targeting the very next rod block. But if you understand better, then you can even hold for a long time. But I won't go into that. How could you hold that? All we are all we are doing is targeting for nearest rod blocks and taking some positions, small bucket out of this whole big ocean, right? So that is the primary goal in this strategy. We are not gonna use any of structures, any of your storyline, any of your direction. All we are doing is basically plotting the higher time frame key levels, validating through the lower time frame engulfing concept to validate if it will hold the price or not. And if it gives you the signal that okay, price is ready to go higher, just to take a decision. Correct? As simple as that. I can't make strategy more simpler than that, right? So over there, let's say you took a long. So let's say you took a long on Tuesday. Now your next Wednesday, you have a fresh level over here, open close level, and you have this resistance as well, right? So we can use these two levels to look for sells again, right? All we are not gonna be targeting the next daily. I'm gonna repeat say again. All we are using is small reaction, even if it for 150 pip range, and we will be exiting the market on the very next rod block. We are not gonna target for the next daily. Okay. So again, if I look to the M15, um, yeah. So when we approach this daily level, okay, we didn't had any signal confirming that we will hold, but later on the market we had, um, you know, there was this engulfing failed and EG sell. Now you may wonder, but this is too far from the daily level, right? So should I be looking for sells now? I mean, you can't do that. You want price to close below the daily level and then look for the opportunities. Or what you can do is we have this daily level over here, right? In this daily level, we will have H4 as an precisement. Price won't always go very won't be very precise with your daily levels. It can go a bit far away, lower or higher. So you have your daily H4 precisement to use, but that again something a bit complex. So what I will suggest you, if you are very new to the concept, just use the daily level, not do the precisement on all that stuff. But if you would have used the precisement, you could have taken the cells as well, because you understand we have not yet closed on the daily level, and there is H4 levels, you know as in precisement, which are giving you a validation that the price could hold. So that could be your another sell position over there, targeting for the very next rod block, which is this one, or this whole range, right? So sales taken over here, your target is this. How much it gave you? Again, give you a very nice up range. Again, this was a daily level, I believe, resistance. Okay, in this case, price did made confirmation over there, but the confirmation was made into the rod block. So mm, it was not something near to the level, but rather into the rod block. So it is a very high risk sells that you can take. So for me, it is not a valid sells for me to take. Okay, but if you ask me, can I take sells over here? Um, yes, you can do that by using the M5 and M1, but that's again something um, I won't suggest you to go unless you are familiar with the concepts and understand the market very well. Okay, so we will use what we will keep on looking for higher time frame levels. The price was continue to go higher. So my next level would be uh, this level over here. We have, and then we have this level over here, and then we have this level over here. Why mainly this level over here? Because this OHLC held price for a certain time, and then it was broken. So it holds an importance as an a flip level, yeah, na? And also we have a daily EG cell very near to each other. But that's something again. If you are familiar with the concept, then only you will understand why it is important to mark this as well, right? So before that, we had these two levels to be monitored. We will be using the M15 again. Again, we had um what we did had a reaction. We came in, we formed an M15 EG cell, but we never had the you know retest of it. But eventually we came right into the rod block again, so we can't use the cell again. So since it has in a very know buy momentum phase, so this will be used as a buy range for price to continue to go higher, right? I hope you are understanding what I mean by this, example over there. So again, we came into the daily, we never had any signal that is telling us that okay, we might be signaling cells. No, we do not had anything. So again, we will be using next daily levels as an opportunity to keep looking for cells. Now you may wonder, dude, what about the buys? Would I have been, totally how could I take those buys? I mean, this is not the strategy for that. Our strategy is basically using the signals as an using the high time frame levels as an opportunity for small reactions to be used, right? So the strategy is not about how to take buys and sells. The strategy is all about using those high time frame key levels as an opportunity, right? So we once we had a close above this resistance area, it becomes what? It becomes your RBS level, and then we had a left shoulder as well. We could use these levels, right? And then we can use the M15 to look for buys again, right? And then we had something over there to be used as buys. So it will keep on doing that, and we can use that. And then on over here we had this level, and okay, let me explain for someone who understand SNR is super well. So we had a daily level, daily reject daily, right? And then we had H4 break, and then we had two levels to be looked at. So over there we have left shoulder and apex, right? So what we can use is we can use these level and validate through the engulfing SOP to understand if these levels will hold or not. So we had what? Let me see. Okay, yeah, we have M15 engulfing cell and M15 engulfing field. So this is giving you a signal that okay, we can go for short, right? And then we had a very beautiful run that, and you can target for the very next rod block, which is this one. And but if you understand the SOB really well, then you would have understood that we already have confirmed the daily SOB. So your next rod target should be the next daily. But someone who don't understand, please don't do this mistakes targeting for the next daily, because you don't have the idea, you don't have the knowledge about that, right? So for someone understand, he will target for the next daily, and you have a very nice risk to reward trade over there. So I hope I have given you enough examples, and I hope this strategy is something very easy to follow up, and you guys can trade with it on your prop firm accounts, on your personal accounts, doesn't matter, and practice it. Okay, go to your charts and try to um practice it. And what I have observed is it works really well with the gold chart, but I'm not really that good with currency pairs, but maybe you can try and backtest. So this is all for today video. Maybe let me try to use it on the silver chart. Let's try that. So on the daily chart, let's see. Um, so yeah, we had this resistance level we had this level, these level. So we can use the M15 as an, validate, as a validation. So we don't have any sell signals over there, but over there we were forming some signals there. Okay, in this case, um, M15 formed the EG cell. We did had a reaction, but it failed to go below past this level. So it would have taken your SL if you have taken, a sell over there. But later we again, made a break, right? And then this was the EG cell responsible. So that is your opportunity to sell again back to where? Back to the next rod blocks. Yeah. This whole buy range could be your target. And you can even hold if you understand, how rod blocks can alter the direction. Yeah. So the strategy will keep on working. It's just that you need to have patience to wait for the solid confirmation to form up and then look for the opportunities. So yeah, this is all for today video. I want you guys to show some love and hit the like button, and I will keep on making the videos, and I will also about the engulfing series I will continue to upload videos. I was a bit busy on some stuff, but I'm back again. So we will be uploading videos continuously, right? So yeah, that's all for today. And show some love, okay? And have a great one, guys. Keep practicing, keep winning.